Welcome, everyone, to the last Video Store Clerks podcast with Frank and Scott.
The days of Blockbuster, Hollywood, and the independent video store are over.
But the days of searching the shelves for hidden gems and overlooked cult classics is never ending.
Join us while we drown in a sea of streaming options and ask the question,
what the hell is a good movie anyway?
I'm Frank.
I'm Scott.
And we're the last Video Store Clerks.
They took the picture of Uncle Ben off the rice, I'm pretty sure. It's still called Uncle Ben, but...
I get the 90-second rice from time to time.
Oh, I get it all the time. I'm fucking lazy as shit.
Well, until you check the sodium count.
Yeah, that's what's going to kill us, for sure.
See, these old man moments just pop out.
Yeah, but do you think...
I can't control them.
So do you think that in 30 years from now, people are going to, there's going to be a Mandela effect? About
because of these
Aunt
changes?
Jemima and stuff, they're being like, it was never called that.
It was never there.
Yeah. Some of those Mandela effect things might be real.
It's come to my attention lately that people in their late teens, early 20s right now honestly don't know of some of the bands that we listened to in the 90s.
That's good. I don't want anyone to know.
Yeah. I've seen that kids are wearing these shirts. Parents are slapping the shirts on these kids that say Nirvana, but it's a picture of Hanson.
That's pretty fun.
And then they show the reaction because they ask them, nobody said anything at school all day? And no, why would they say anything? Because none of them know. And this is something that could easily be scripted, but it's just the genuine look on the kid's face. I'm like, no kid is that good at acting, especially if it's just like a video on a phone. Parents are slapping just Nirvana with the Hanson brothers on it, and nobody notices.
Their flannel shirts were probably more expensive.
Well,
and
yeah,
didn't come from Walmart.
Well, even I think it was 10 or 15 years ago, there was a Sublime thing came up. Younger people were, but somebody walk. What's your favorite Sublime song? Well, and you'd get the Jimmy Kimmel on the street answer.
Yeah,
straight bullshit.
Yeah, Fly.
Well, fucking what song?
Yeah. Doing this podcast, I've just been walking around all day with a la 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 from fucking Mystery Science Theater. La la la.
I was so happy when I was a kid and it would come on Comedy Central really late at night.
Yeah.
But it was on a Saturday or Friday, so I could do it and not get in trouble.
Yeah, and eventually Sci-Fi Channel picked it up.
That's right.
And they played it at 3 p.m. on a Sunday, which is exactly when I wanted that.
Oh, that
Sci-Fi Channel used to be so good before it was Sci-Fi. They got that WWE Raw, Monday Night Raw.
Wrestling is $1 billion industry. I don't get it.
Where there's abuse that I feel worse for professional wrestlers than I do for any professional football player.
I watched wrestling 1 year of my life. And of all years, it was our freshman year. Yeah. Which I feel is a really weird time in my life to do that.
I mean, maybe, man. I used to have a corn shirt for every day of the week. It was that time.
What sucks is over the years, when you realize the shirts that you gave away to people, because they were like, oh, you have that shirt from then? It's like, yeah, just, take it, man. I don't need it. And now I feel like I should have saved those shirts.
I mean, I couldn't wear them now. I don't wear an extra large t-shirt like I did in high school. Oh, God. We are talking about The Special today. The Special is basically an allegory for the dangers of the near constant urge that we have to stick our dick in anything that feels good. And possibly about masturbation addiction.
Yeah, something's lacking.
Yeah, there was a level of truth to this movie that was kind of disturbing to me, but also it's... I'm really sorry I made you watch this movie, and I'm really sorry that I watched it twice.
And wow. I mean, it's the whole tone of the whole thing. It's one of those movies, before we even talk about what it's about.
Felt a little bit like it might have been a student film, but then when I looked it up,
I've
seen some other things that this guy's done. He did a movie with Eric Roberts. The director of this thing, it was a movie called Camp Dread, I want to say.
Camp Dread?
Not Club Dread.
Broken Lizard.
Different thing.
Yeah. Okay. No, don't think I caught that.
This movie was directed by B. Harrison Smith. The claim to fame on the poster for the movie was that this guy directed Camp Dread and Death House. Neither of these movies I've seen, which is weird. What happened to Eric Roberts? Frank got me a celebrity cameo. He got me a celebrity cameo of Eric Roberts telling me happy birthday and very excitedly talking about me. And it was the weirdest fucking really great birthday present.
I've wanted to send somebody a cameo, and I hadn't pulled the trigger on it, and Scott's birthday was coming up, and I just moved into the new house. I said, Scott's getting a cameo. I began to look, and my goal was, who's weird enough that'll freak him out, but it's kind of cool at the same time.
It did exactly that effect. It was such a weird, like, why did he pick Eric Roberts?
And to be honest, the close runner-up was Michael Biehn.
Yeah, but you said he was kind of a dick on his cameos.
You look at them. I've mentioned that I'm realizing that I'm getting older. One of those things that helps me to realize I'm getting older is seeing these people from my childhood now. Michael Biehn it's showing more than Eric Roberts, and Michael Biehn, I love him, not saying anything bad, but you can preview the cameos that they'll do. Michael Bihn's just this guy lounged back in a recliner with some readers on in a dark room, reading a script.
Yeah.
Almost. And with no emotion. Eric Roberts, I could feel his energy. And
he was really excited that was my birthday.
Yeah.
I felt like he was.
Yeah, it felt genuine. And that as soon as he sent it, they give you a window of when it's going to come, the last day in the window. And it was so close to your birthday. I was like, oh, it's not going to come. He finally sends it, and I watch it, and it's just what I was looking for.
It was great, though, like sitting there opening that on my computer after like working all day. And it was
Eric
like
Roberts?
at the height of the pandemic, like the beginning of the pandemic, And I was just like, I feel so weird. And like, he's like looking at me. And I was like, and what kept like popping into my head was, that's Julia Roberts' brother. And I think his daughter's pretty.
I've never seen his daughter.
You have for sure seen his daughter. Did you watch the 3rd season of American Horror Story? The Coven one?
Yes.
Yeah, she's one of the witches.
Well, and by the way,
she's Madison. I remembered a character name for once. She's Madison, the one that is like the pretty popular girl sort of the witches.
I'm going to have to look back because Hotel lost me.
She was also in the beginning of, what was that movie with the was it The Hunt?
Yes.
That was like sitting on that, like, we're making fun of liberals and
yes,
yeah.
The Hunt.
Like,
because you would think it was the conservatives doing it, but no, it was the liberals doing that.
Yeah. It's really good. I liked that movie. The lady who was the main kind of like redneck girl that makes it all the way to the end.
And she's been in other things too.
Yeah, although I did, for some reason, when I got to the end of that movie, I was like, I wish that this Hilary Swank part was Sandra Bullock, which was an unexplained thing because
You've told me that before.
I don't
so
really like Sandra Bullock all that much. She kind of bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I was like, I wanted it to be Sandra Bullock. It's the first time it's ever happened to me.
Well, and if you watch The Office, there's a whole Hilary Swank hot or not sequence. And in my opinion, hot.
I don't know. She's a handsome woman.
Why do you have to say that? I was so confident
because
in
every
what
now
I just
and then
said, and then you just kind of
every now and then I like
defeated.
I like a handsome woman. It's the same as like Julia Roberts. It's just like long faced women. Fucking shit out.
But yeah, Eric Roberts most recently was in Righteous Gemstones.
Oh, really? He was in the Christopher Nolan Batman movies too.
Yes, he was.
Yeah.
He was one
or
of
at least
one of the villains.
Yeah. Yeah. Christopher Nolan was like, he has a good eye for like, I like that guy. He's weird. There's a guy who I had only seen in Torchwood, which is a Doctor Who spinoff. And he was one of the like Wall Street guys in one of the Batman movies.
That's a nice touch.
Yeah. Well, it makes me feel like the director watches the shit that I watch too. There's something about that. Like, I'm like, that guy watches Doctor Who. Respect.
Yeah. It's always good to feel that bond.
Yeah. When you relate to somebody deeply nerdy. So do we need to talk about the Oscars at all?
We should.
It's a bunch of movies I didn't bother to watch. You know? I feel like we're going to get to, when we get to the special, I was very deceived by this trailer. This was a good trailer maker and not such a good movie.
Okay, and then Shadow of the Cloud, I thought it was the worst trailer in the world.
Yeah,
and
sometimes you can spot a bad movie from its trailer,
mm-hmm.
but you can't always spot a bad movie.
Yeah, and then that trailer did not represent that movie.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
So you're saying this was a great trailer.
This
and then you
trailer
get to the
very
movie.
much emphasized the high points of this movie, and I was real enamored with it when I first saw it. Ugh, I don't know why I said it like that.
Even when you first told me about it,
the cover of this movie is disgusting. It's a box with a nasty purple tongue hanging out of it.
This is a box that's what, probably 8 inches high by 4 or 6 inches wide. maybe 10 inches high.
Yeah, from the get-go of the movie, I was like, there's a fucking head in that box.
Let's just,
We're going to spoil the shit. Nobody should watch this fucking movie. I am so sorry I asked you to watch it, and I'm sorry I watched it twice.
I watched it, I mean, almost. So what was the runtime on that? I think about an hour and a half.
It was an hour and 23 minutes.
Was it really?
Yeah, and I think it cut off before that. I think that was a lot of credits. There was
That's the
also
same runtime as Shadow in
a
the Cloud.
really weird after the credits moment. It was randomly, there was a guy in the background on the TV in the hotel, and we'll get to all of this, but he was talking about, it was some random series of dialogue put together that didn't have anything to do with the plot, or it loosely had to do with the theme.
Mm-hmm.
It was really obvious, and he was wearing sunglasses and talking to a guy who looked like he should be sitting with Tom Brokaw somewhere.
Man, I didn't even make it to that part.
Yeah, it didn't need it.
Yeah.
You didn't earn an after the wait till the end of the credits.
No,
with
and
this
I'm
movie.
big on that.
Yeah.
I really am.
But the director, he didn't write this movie. I looked up the guy who wrote this movie. Not a whole lot else going on. Some short films.
And what I was telling Scott is one of the ways that I judge a movie when I start watching it, sometimes if I feel this certain lower level of quality.
Yeah, you would have given up on this movie at the 20 minute, your cutoff 20 minute
I feel like
mark.
the 20 minute.
I should have, but I feel like I may have been drunk the first time
and we can
I
dig
watched
more.
it.
I mean, everything, the cinematography, the dialogue, the characters, the acting. I mean, it goes on and on. Just.
It's getting harder to spot a bad movie, too. The technology is to a point where it's not bad. You know, it's not bad like it was back in the day.
It doesn't look dirt cheap. Thankfully, with drones, I don't know a drone that's
all those
not
crane shots are gone.
that's not, good quality now. You're not going to get a pixelated drone shot.
Yeah, cameras have gotten so good.
HD.
It's really hard to spot something that was probably a student film. This isn't a student film, which is bonkers.
Not a student film, but one of my kind of quality checks, I guess you can say, is this cast felt like it was composed of ex-porn stars, and that some of the crew
that makes sense,
probably came from those sets. You look at the acting, also their overall look in general.
The friend of the main character was the best actor in this movie, and
he really was.
On sight, you don't like him. He's got that over manicured beard,
which I
that
think was
hard
one of the
line
only
down
good
the cheek.
details they paid attention to, because that would match that character.
Oh, for sure, he was. And by the end of this movie, he will be the person I like the most. Yeah,
but the wife.
Yeah, okay.
Tell me she didn't have porn experience.
Oh, yeah, it kind of felt like that. It did feel like watching Chasey Lane be in a movie.
She wasn't an unattractive person.
Oh my God, that was a really old porn star to reference.
Chasey Lane?
Yeah.
No, actually
I feel like I did it because of the Bloodhound Gang song. It was the first one that popped in my head. For some reason, Chasey Lane and Jenna Jameson are the first porn stars that pop into my head every time. We're way past that.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, it did feel like a movie that had porn stars. That's a really good way to describe it.
It's one of my levels of quality, because I feel with some of those lower budget films, that's who they're getting.
Although Zombie Strippers was better than this movie.
Zombie Strippers blew this away. But not to say that there weren't mind-blowing moments in this movie.
The premise of this movie is really good. So let's give you a brief summary of this movie.
We'll go through a summary. Let's summarize.
This is about a guy who thinks his wife is cheating on him. And from a storytelling standpoint, you start to empathize with him in the first 5 minutes. And his friend is trying to convince him to have sex with another woman. Tale as old as time, I guess.
Yeah. They're in a bar having a drink. Jerry is concerned that his wife is boning is it a snowblower salesman?
We don't find out until later in the movie that it might be a snowblower salesman. I actually don't think this guy's wife is cheating on him at all. I think the whole reason we're supposed to empathize with him in the beginning of the movie goes completely out the window.
Yeah,
but a lot of things do. This movie should have been an episode of The Twilight Zone, or not The Twilight Zone. I feel bad for saying that about The Twilight Zone. Outer Limits? Tales from the Dark Side.
Tales from the Dark Side
yes.
with Outer
Tales
Limits
from the Crypt
ish.
Tales from the Crypt is where this falls in.
But Tales from the Crypt is so much better than this.
Actually, let's look at the strange thing is this movie on Rotten Tomatoes has 2 fucking reviews, and they're both good. But those are the only reviews.
But they're good reviews.
It has no tomato meter score. It has a 36% audience score. I looked at none of this before I watched this movie, because that's the video store clerk in me. where I was just like, don't ask questions. Watch the movie about a guy fucking a box. So this movie is about a guy fucking a box.
That's the whole thing. It's the special is fucking the box.
He goes to a whorehouse with his friend.
Mike takes Jerry to the whorehouse, which is a psychic.
Oh, yeah. Why is the madam at the whorehouse is a psychic? Why?
Madame Zora is a psychic. To me, that's the front for the brothel.
Okay. So the plot of this movie is that this man goes to a whorehouse because he thinks his wife might be cheating on him.
And his good buddy Mike is, the only way to feel better about this is to get even. Then you're on a level field.
And I felt like at the beginning of this movie, I thought that his wife had actually cheated on him. They had had a conversation about it. We're good. And he was just trying to get his...
You don't even question it. You just assume she is cheating.
And that's not why we came for the movie.
No.
We know that from the onset that this is a movie about a guy who is going to fuck this box and kill it. Because it was a really great trailer.
Yeah, and I want to say the women of the night, the prostitutes at the whorehouse,
very realistic.
They were, because they weren't over the top hot, but they weren't like,
they were daytime hookers.
Yeah, they weren't like the bench warmers at the strip club either. This wasn't like third string action.
They were night strippers, daytime hookers. I should clarify that. Because you don't want a daytime stripper.
Is that what it reads in the Craigslist ad for those chicks?
That's just... Well, I stole the daytime hooker thing from My Name is Earl, but...
No, but okay, I just want to...
But I've been to a strip club during the day, and it's not something you want to see.
No.
It's a lot of ass-ny.
And way too many... I'm not a regular strip club, but I've been daytime, I've been evening in my life. I'm 37.
Yeah, and I'm not talking about New Orleans.
No, I don't.
New Orleans during the day, strip club is a different thing than...
But here in Austin during the day, it's somebody who's going to start telling you about their kids.
Yeah.
While they're still trying to slip in. Do you want the lap dance? It's
because during lunch, lunch is a lot of like roofers and
the business guys. They're there for lunch.
Yeah, they're there to close a deal. They want to take this guy for a steak, and we're gonna go to the
Exactly.
Sugars.
You have the food that you're just hoping is just that. Let's just say the tops are on, the bottoms are on in the back.
Okay, so the basic plot of this movie, which I don't know how to say it other than it's about a guy who fucks a box, but it's a guy who falls in love with a box.
The box is supposed to be a one-time thing or a here and there.
So he goes to this whorehouse to get the special.
He gets the $60. Get you the special.
It didn't cost that much last time. That was a real argument they had with the madam at the whorehouse with $60.
But so they pay the 60. He goes up there. This blows Jerry's mind. It's too much for Jerry, but they all see it.
Yeah, he was like laying on the bed.
He was passed out. Zora had to go get Mike to go get him off the bed.
Yeah, because I think later in the movie, there's a point where he's about to fuck the box and then something comes up and he realizes, I'm going to be real wiped out after I fuck this box. I shouldn't do it.
And again, one of the small points that they did cover was Mike, the friend, zips up Jerry's pants and he says that that's some gooey stickiness down there. Like he makes a little comment as he zips up Jerry on the bed.
I want to cover to a full extent. The Foley in this movie is fucking out of control. There's no leveling. It's all the same volume. And when he goes and fucks this box, it is just...
macaroni in a pot.
He covers his head in a bag to bring him there, so he doesn't know how to get back. Which I kind of missed at the beginning of it.
Yeah, he covers his head so he doesn't see it, but when he gets there, he pulls the hood off and he sees the name of the place.
Oh yeah, they're right in front of it.
We live in the age of Google. I mean, good job of covering his head and then letting him see the building.
But when he wants to find the place, when he goes home and his wife is suspicious he's been cheating on him, and he's like, I didn't have sex with anyone else.
Yeah.
And he didn't.
No, but it's in him. You see something's changed almost immediately.
Yeah, that was my big problem.
See that he needs it.
I really like the premise of this movie, but I didn't feel very bad for this guy because I didn't feel bad for him long enough before he starts acting like a fucking asshole.
At the beginning, I think we're in agreement. We did just both assume his wife's cheating. Where's this going? But then you find out what caused him to think that other than she went and talked to a salesman.
Suddenly, everything about the character development becomes super thin in this movie.
And he shows up at work and he's a little weird. Well, he does a search and he finds it.
By the way, where do they work? In a basement?
Okay.
The guy's house is way too fucking nice.
Exactly.
And then he goes to work and it looks like the office with no windows.
They have no windows. It looks like the guys who run ticket businesses. The guys who resell tickets to events.
And I get it. I can suspend that to a point. But by the end of this movie, I couldn't suspend
Yeah,
it
it looks
anymore.
like a certain little white room with the black love seat, if you know what I'm saying.
The amount of
Just like
corners
that
they
room.
cut making this movie made me want to go, why did you make it an hour and a half long? 43 minutes is how long this movie should have been.
I am in total agreement. On my drive over here, that crossed my mind. That's the most reasonable way this should have been handled. Was this should have been a short film.
It should have been an episode of Tales from the Crypt. It
Something
was
short.
perfect for that.
No need for full length.
Yeah, and
No
we would
need.
have accepted all of its poor qualities
It would have
right out of the gate.
That's where it needed to be, but with the level of acting. God.
Yeah. Which is
Oh.
not to say that Tales from the Crypt isn't one of the most amazing things that's ever been on
Yeah,
television.
Tales from the Crypt is
And Demon Knight is, I watch it every Halloween. I fucking love Demon Knight. If you haven't seen Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight, watch it immediately. It's so good. It's the second Tales from the Crypt movie, not as good. Kind of funny though. Dennis Miller when he wasn't
Bordello
a
of Blood?
fucking weirdo. Yeah, Bordello of Blood. It was great. Always good to have a Feldman appearance.
I completely forgot.
Mhm.
So I've not seen either one of the Tales from the Crypt movies in a long time. About 10 years ago, I bought seasons 1 and 2 on DVD from Target.
Oh my God, you do? Can I
have-
borrow them?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, man. On
I don't know why. Why is
So-
Tales from the Crypt not on HBO?
I'm
It aired on HBO. Why is it not on HBO
it's
Max?
not on HBO Max.
It's not streaming anywhere, dude. That is
dude.
like a huge chunk of my television
Send me a
childhood
text
history.
so I don't forget. I'm so glad
I
you got
really will.
excited over
Oh my
that.
God, I've wanted to watch it for
Yeah.
so long.
You know, and it's, from 10 years ago, so the DVDs themselves are probably from 10 to 15 years ago. And so it's got the little trifold with the.
I think to a certain extent, I Netflix disc by disc in the mail
Mhm.
got Tales from the Crypt episodes. And I actually think I did it after they had started streaming stuff. But it was one of those things you just couldn't find it anywhere.
That's a shame.
Does Netflix still offer discs by mail for 70-year-olds?
I don't know for sure, but I would say that they do because there are places where the internet is still not a thing or reliable.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, because I grew up in rural West Virginia, we used to say that the satellite dish was the state flower. Those big 90s satellite dishes, the big giant
My
white
grandparents had
ones.
one in the backyard in Elgin, Texas.
Yeah, so small town. You don't get good internet service
No.
in the 90s out there.
And then I feel like small towns, they were really good at when you changed service back then. You got the second one.
Oh, yeah.
They couldn't always run it through the same dish. So then you'd have 2 or 3 of these.
Even now, my neighbor has 3 satellite dishes on his roof.
Yeah.
Because they don't take them down.
Fuck, do you have
They won't come take them off your roof. They
This
don't
is-
want them back.
Do you have a radio station at your house? Or you use some sort of. Are you Charlie Sheen from The Arrival? Looking for that
That's
fucking
the second
signal.
time this week that you've brought up The Arrival.
I think I need to watch it. It's what
We might need to do an episode about The Arrival.
I like The Arrival.
The only time I saw The Arrival was when it came out, which was what, 98?
You haven't seen The Arrival since then?
Never. No.
Since then,
I
I've-
thought about watching it when I worked at the video store, but I never got around
I tried
to
the
it.
sequel a couple years ago.
Charlie Sheen was hot shit then. That was like peak before 2.5 Men Charlie Sheen, but the height of his Wild Thing fame.
Go Ricky Vaughn.
You laugh, but that was a bit everyone knew what fucking Major League was when we
Yeah.
were 10, 11 years old.
It's a falling in the dugout thing. It's a coming home late drunk thing.
Yeah, I find movies like that are the reason I know actors' names that no one else knows what I'm talking about. Like Corbin Rains was in that. He's Sean's father in Psych is the only way anyone knows who he
Wesley
is.
Snipes, Tom Berenger, Rene Russo, Charlie Sheen.
Yeah, it was full of people from the past.
It was a good flick, man.
You don't hear from any of those fucking people anymore, except for Corbin Rains, who's Sean's dad on Psych.
Rene Russo, what's the last thing I saw her? 2 for the Money with Matthew McConaughey and Al Pacino. I feel like that's one
I've
of the last
never
times.
even seen that movie.
2 for the Money,
No.
sports betting, I believe.
Which brings me to Now You See Me and Now You See Me 2. Wait a minute. It's called Now You Don't. It should be called Now You Don't. Why is it not called Now You Don't?
Because they needed that Now You See Me money.
Now You See Me 2? Or just call it Now You See Me, Now You Don't. The whole thing is on the table at that point.
A different, it's another movie Little Franco was in.
Oh yeah, Little Franco. I kind of wanted to see Little Franco's indie movie he made.
The Rental?
Yeah, was it good?
You never saw The Rental?
No, I never saw it.
I've watched it twice.
Is Alison Brie in it? His wife?
From Glow?
Yes.
Yes.
Community.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know Glow.
Yeah.
Yes, I still.
Mad Men.
No, I should say no. I have still not done Community.
God damn it, Frank.
I know. I think one of the good things is us talking about it is there's so much out there. So much out there. And sometime we'll talk about just how much is out there and why some of it is.
I feel like that's what we're doing now.
We have to cover as much ground as we can.
Because in a world where Is It a Cake is #1 on Netflix,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
we have time to watch an hour and a half long movie.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how bad it is. If it catches your attention, give it a shot. Because it's those things that live inside you, like The Special. I'm never going to forget that I watched this.
Yeah, this is one that sticks with you.
Okay, so he goes to the whorehouse. The score music when they go to the whorehouse is fucking atrocious. And the score music carries on through the whole thing. It's way over dramatic, lots of strings keening up, but not in like a Michael Myers is coming for you kind of way.
It's not memorable.
In like a my pet mouse died kind of way.
Damn it, Stuart Little.
Yeah.
Yeah, he goes back to the whorehouse, and even though Madame Zora was so adamant to
she
Mike,
lets him right in. Oh, wait, we skipped over the fact that he goes to a different psychic to find this psychic. And
completely slipped my mind.
She's like, I don't locate people.
And then
then he offers her
character.
$5. And then it just skips and he's there. So
yeah, the big
it
tipper
works.
gets rejected, and then he's an asshole. So this is the beginning of you realizing he's a douchebag.
Yeah, he's a dick.
He's completely.
Yeah, maybe the box has changed him already, but we don't know because we didn't spend enough
know that. I mean,
time
this
with
guy was at the
regular
bar
guy.
telling his best friend that his wife's cheating on him, and then just goes to the whorehouse.
Yeah, he goes there, and granted, he doesn't have sex with a woman.
And then this movie goes from 0 to 100 real quick.
At this point, he kills the madam.
He fucks the box again,
Yeah.
and then on his way out, he's trying to like.
Oh, and let's not forget the fact that the second time he fucks the box, he smells the hole, is revolted, and then fucks the box anyway.
Just can't say no.
Yeah,
sometimes.
like starts smiling seconds later. He's like,
Yeah.
I'm still gonna fuck this box.
And then he finishes up. He's trying to pocket the box. Did you?
Oh
do you
yeah,
know what
he
I
was
mean?
trying to fit it in his cover it in his
Yeah, in
jacket,
his jacket.
like as though he could hide this.
But then Madame Zora enters the room, and this is where the 0 to 100 takes place.
He kills her, and then the Foley when he's like stepping on her neck is just awful. It's like you remember that scene where Bart Simpson's like making wine
Yes.
when he gets sent to
Yes.
France.
Yes.
Which has instilled in me to this day that all wine, some kid was just like barefoot squishing all the grapes.
Just between his toes.
But it sounds like somebody is just stamping on a like bowl of popcorn.
Hey man, have you ever gotten it from the farm where the kids have webbed toes?
Tastes really good. Flavor notes.
Oh, duck feet. But yeah, so he kills Madame Zora. He's got the box.
He realizes he can't take this fucking box home with him, so he goes and rents a hotel room to keep the box in. But it's a pay by the week hotel that looks like an IHOP,
To me, it looked like a seaside restaurant bar.
like a pub. That's what I wrote down on my notes. was,
Pub.
looks like a pub mixed with a diner. Definitely could be an IHOP.
Yeah, and for some reason, I felt like it was coastal. I had a coastal feel. But
It looked like vaguely English building to me, even though I'm sure they were in Los Angeles.
Actually, do you know where the filming took place?
It's Canada, isn't it?
Philadelphia.
Oh, weird.
That all the credits to location, all three were different places in Pennsylvania. Yep. You're looking at me like you don't believe me.
No, I was just thinking about how like I watched all like a fuck ton of Cold Case Files, and I was like, I'm from Pennsylvania, so like as I was watching Cold Case Files, I was like,
I didn't even put it together like that. It's just one, like you were saying, it's hard to find facts or other pieces that these people have worked
there's
on.
nothing about this fucking movie.
One of the only things I noticed was the film credits as for location, and they were all three that I saw were Pennsylvania.
So they probably weren't porn stars. I don't think they do a lot of porn in
Well, I mean,
Philly.
think about it. How much is it to fly people out to Pennsylvania?
Probably not that much. I do remember like the Pittsburgh airport was the last airport you could smoke in, and they had those little like enclosed rooms with a glass, and you could write in the tar that had gathered on the glass.
Oh.
You could draw a smiley face. My mom would be like, "Don't do that," when I was a little kid. That's really fucking with you, isn't it?
Yeah,
The neat freak in you was like, "Don't touch the tar."
I mean, I'm sure you didn't disinfect. Jesus.
No, back in the 90s, I probably
Yeah.
tasted it a little. Got a little one of those like,
Why doesn't it taste like chocolate?
yeah, like when the detective comes and like touches the oil on the ground and then puts it in his mouth. And he's like,
Yeah, or all the
Valvoline.
detectives that go out there and get the nummy from touching the yayo. Like,
Yeah, now's our chance.
yeah. I can't feel my face.
There's a hotel on top of this IHOP. It's a pay by the hour or pay by the week hotel.
And they make it look like it's a damn Airbnb in this seaside coastal restaurant bar.
Yeah, but he
pub.
pays up for a week. And
He
then
does.
later in the movie, when his wife finds out he's rented this hotel room, because now she suspects he's cheating on him, he racked up like $1,000 bill.
$1,000 even.
Yeah. He also paid for this shady hotel room with a credit
So was that
card.
implying that he went past his cash limit on the first
Well,
week and
I
paid
feel
for additional
like this
weeks?
movie was written where the premise came to the guy and he was like, "Oh my God." And he wrote this script. And then either a lot of it fell apart in what we can handle doing for this amount of money, or he just got really lazy about writing it. We have this awesome premise. This guy fucks a
Something
box.
didn't fucking happen while he was writing it. That's for sure.
He was probably not doing cocaine because this movie was a little boring. For
People say
being
you
as
missed
crazy
the
as
mark.
this. Yeah.
Sometimes I think he missed several marks.
Yeah, at some points I thought that they were trying to make like a Ty West slow burn horror movie.
Which sometimes the slow burns pay off sometimes.
Not one that initially starts with this guy's gonna fuck a box and then he continues to do it the whole movie.
Yeah,
And he
I mean-
feels really good after he fucks the box.
Yeah, he's
Like he goes into work just strutting.
yeah, walking on sunshine.
Yeah,
They
he
make it
also
look-
finds out when he goes back to the hotel that the slime that he sticks his finger in the hole and touches, if he just puts it on him, it will also like he'll have
Recreate
some
the
sort
sensation.
of crazy orgasm. So this box is some sort of biological chemical.
And that does come into play
Aphrodisiac.
because he finds out he can rub it on himself.
Yeah, and he puts it in a little something we're all very familiar with right now. It's a hand sanitizer bottle. He fills it with the box jelly and takes it home with him. It's to box to go.
So did you notice how he filled that little bottle?
Was he just stuffing it in the tiny hole in the top?
Instead of
Or he was, like,
unscrewing the
sucking
lid
it
with
up?
the cap, he's putting it in through the tiny hole that's underneath the cap when you pop it open.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
I did notice that.
And I thought that's what you were leading up to because that stuck out to me as somebody who's got like a minor OCD twitch. Unscrew the cap, unscrew the pop cap. You've got that larger hole.
Not a whole lot happens after that. We're in what, from a storytelling perspective, is the fun and games part of the story.
It starts to pick up he's becoming more short with people, more aggressive. He takes the magic jelly, rubs it on his dick a couple times. The wife catches him one night.
Jerking off with the jelly. I think it's the same fucking night.
Yeah,
I don't
it-
think that many days
had passed at that
as
point.
this movie
But
goes
she's
on.
all ready to roll. She comes in. She thinks he's getting hot and heavy, ready for her. They bang one out. And that's the only sex scene of the movie with two people.
And at the end of this movie, he's going to claim that it does something to women, but his wife is having a good time at first, and then she really is not.
It's more him just pounding away.
But the next morning, what she's upset about is that he leaves like she's a one-night stand to go to work.
And she's
early.
emotional because we do find out that she's pregnant.
And that apparently this jelly then causes a miscarriage. Yeah, but he has no emotion about it because
No, and it's not acknowledged in the movie. You're just supposed to assume.
I feel like that was fine. I'm okay with you letting me figure it out.
I am too. Yeah,
And one of the things I appreciated about this movie was there was no scientific explanation, no sort of lore about how this came to be, just a guy fucking a box. It has a nice Twilight Zone twist at the end. At this point, the woman is being investigated. Her murder is being investigated. This Russian psychic madam.
Oh, it pops up in random TVs at this point.
Yeah.
He's kind of keeping tabs on it through the local news.
It's happening in the background, and the cop is sort of this like cliche. He's seen all this
He's a
before.
detective who asks the hard questions.
For sure. And the only person now at the whorehouse is giant Russian man who is the bouncer.
Yeah, there's a giant like Eastern European
Yeah, I
bodyguard
don't
that
know if I'm not supposed to be calling it a whorehouse. I know the whole sex
a
thing.
whorehouse brothel.
I get it.
Yeah, it's
But honestly, if you'd seen these women, it's not a high class place.
no, it's in a psychic house.
They also didn't seem upset to be there. They looked like they were having a good time.
They're fine. I bet
because
they
at the
get
beginning of the movie, the friend buys literally all the hookers. But
Mike,
it seems to be a surprise to him too. He's
Yeah.
like, apparently, I'm going to do it 3 times.
Jerry gets stuck with the special in a room. Mike gets the 3 believable hookers. You know, they look like hookers.
They for
That
sure
would
did.
be in that whorehouse. I said whorehouse too, so now we
Yeah.
both said it. Oh, I've said it before. Whorehouse.
Fuck it, we're rolling with it.
Whorehouse.
He said whorehouse.
Okay. Well,
they're attacking someone unprovoked, so we can make fun of them, right?
Well, and this bodyguard guy, he was in the background because he actually had to get Mike out the first time, but he's just, you assume he's just the bouncer. You didn't think he's going to be reoccurring necessarily. Then he's back in and he's got a bigger role to play because the detective is asking him the hard questions. He's answering them. The accent was just so bad.
It was a really, really
and I feel
bad
like it
Eastern
changed.
European.
Yeah, it went from like one corner just to the other. It was not great. It was not consistent.
I felt like there should have been some sort of backstory, but I kind of appreciated that they didn't bother.
And everything he said was supposed to be witty, but it just fell so flat. It just, to me, it fell so flat. I'm like, I see what you're doing, and it don't. Just stop. So he's basically like, someone's out there. and
almost like he will find out.
Yeah, he'll pay.
And then he says on the
There's a
news
price to
at
pay.
some point that I'm the only one who can help you, and sort of like does that.
And this is when our main character Jerry starts to develop a rash.
You know, come to think of it, it sort of follows a pretty standard body horror formula.
I mean, you grind on a wooden box that's not something that's of this world.
It's like giving him dick rot that is climbing up his stomach. It's more than a venereal disease. Also, like a really sad man who's masturbated too many times in a week, he fucks this box anyway. He does not give a shit that he has.
He
this
knows
rash.
that he has to get the nut, so he's going for it.
And I feel like with him coming to work, like real, loose in the morning, because he leaves his wife early and goes to the hotel and fucks this box before he goes into work. We're supposed to believe that this is the thing that is keeping him from snapping at everyone. But it was
the
so
fact that he can still
loosely
plug the
thrown in there.
box.
Yeah. Also, the props department in this movie is non-existent. This hotel has a random assortment of furniture and a very nice television. The guy who runs this hotel is my second favorite character in the movie. My first favorite character is because of the dick rot. He goes to a men's clinic and has it looked at. And the doctor at this fucking men's clinic does not give a shit. I don't believe your name is John Smith.
0 shits were given.
And he's like, all right, are you having sex with anyone other than your wife? No. Yeah, I'm going to deny all this shit. So he gives him a cream. And then he goes to the pharmacy and yells at the pharmacist, I'm pretty sure I rub it on my dick.
Yeah, he's basically a 3-year-old who's fucking a box at this point, but he's got some homicidal tendencies.
Other than the homicidal tendencies, I sort of, as a male, understand what is happening to this guy. Not to say I would fuck a box repeatedly. I want to hope that I am better than that, but I don't know that I am.
I hope that I find a box with something cooler on the inside if I'm fucking it.
Oh, for sure. He gets caught and then...
Well, he's also missing work at this point. Don't forget the sick days. He is not showing up at work. The secretary, Trudy, I think her name is, poor Trudy gets just shit on.
But Trudy also kept being like, you're late. And I was like, you're my secretary.
Yeah, and like, you're fucking obnoxious, Trudy. Very good point.
Yeah, and he went, not anymore.
I'd probably be a dick to Trudy too.
Yeah,
but
I got where that was coming from. Some weird casting happened in the really small parts. And then some really, like the doctor was hilarious.
The barkeep?
The barkeep who owns the hotel.
Mike has belonged in a movie like that.
Yeah, and Mike was kind of likable
the
by
best friend
now.
Mike / business partner or co-worker, we don't know, because what did they do? What was their job?
I have no idea. The only indication
there was a meeting that he was supposed to have with someone, right?
With someone, and
that never took place.
The decorations in the office were really weird. He had framed cigar
boxes broken down.
Yeah, broken down framed cigar boxes, not Cubans or anything, but they were like pressed between glass. And
did somebody make a fucking Christmas ornament out of part of the cigar box hanging off of one of the pictures? Or was that like a tag from the cigar box?
Weird.
It was just
why bother at that point?
But based on Jerry's house, Mike's trimmed facial hair, and just the overall attitude of both our like 2 leading male characters, You assume that they're semi-successful in whatever it is they do, whatever their
Yeah,
venture
Jerry's
is.
house was very nice.
Yeah.
And we never found out what his wife did. Maybe that's like
Maybe
the
she was a
source
stay-at-home
of
wife.
some of the tension.
He drove a Mazda, a car.
He did a
He
car.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to think, was it a sedan or a coupe? He drives a Mazda, and then what did she drive? A Lexus or an Audi?
Oh yeah,
SUV?
you're right. I didn't
Yeah.
catch that.
I was
I
looking.
seriously doubt anyone thought about this when this happened. That might have just been the actor's cars.
Well, I think in my head, as we just mentioned, what the fuck was their job? Okay, does Jerry's wife work? Does he able to pay for her life?
Yeah.
And now that she's pregnant, nothing is explained. But I did notice that he drives a Mazda, nothing super special, but newer. But then she's in a luxury SUV.
Yeah, and in the midst of me thinking about this while I was watching it last night, I went, why the fuck am I supposed to care?
Yeah.
Why am I the only person that thinks about these things too much? I know I'm not. You do. My wife does.
I was trying to see what they drove to see if maybe I could see, or what does she do? Is she an interior designer? Does she model sometimes? Does she have an Etsy page?
Yeah, there was enough
I don't know.
empty space happening in the middle of this movie for my mind to wander pretty far because there was a lot of unnecessary scenes. Following this doctor visit and his wife's miscarriage and everything, she finds the bill for the hotel and then goes to the hotel. The maid that has been kind of watching him the whole time, like she's got her eye on him.
And I've been wondering, why the fuck do you need a maid for 2 hotel rooms? Because it looked like she had a full-time job as the maid, but it looks like they're in a hallway with 2 doors.
They needed a character to facilitate that, but the maid kind of awesomely, like as the wife is walking down the hallway, she just knocks on his door and keeps walking.
Yeah, like that's where the motherfuckers.
Yeah, and he's like, I don't need the room cleaned.
Because he's just batshit crazy asshole fucking a box in a room.
He did really sell this, like, I just want to fuck this box, and everyone is getting in my way.
Everyone is in the way. Then he's confronted.
He, of course, kills his wife in this hotel room.
Because what else are you going to do but kill the wife? Because you killed the Madame Zora for no reason. Why not kill your wife who had a miscarriage because you fucked her with a fuckbox jelly?
Oh, but we forgot to mention that this is right after he's opened the box.
We have seen what's in the box at this point.
What's inside the box is, well, to me, I thought it was like an amorphous blob that was just kind of writhing. The whole time I was like, I think this is a head. It's got to be a head, right? It's like a dead person's head.
It was a ball, head, brain shaped.
Yeah.
It was round oval. You get that impression. And it looks gross. It's slimy. It pulsates.
Yeah, and that was the best special effect in the whole movie.
They
The
did
thing
it
they
well.
really pulled off was this gross blob. But when he opens it, they don't reveal it right away.
Yeah, he's looking at it.
He looks at it and then he smiles. And then he pulls it out and you don't see it. And he sets it behind the box out of view. And then the wife comes and he fucking kills her. He puts the thing in the bathtub.
Because you have to water your sex pocket.
You gotta water your fuck ball.
Yeah. Your fucking slimy ass fucking.
But the cop scene was unnecessary. There's a really long scene where he goes to a plumber store to buy a pair of bolt cutters that are really old from.
The store, the clerk at the plumbing store goes to the back.
And he's like, you don't mind if they're used, right? And there's no plumbing equipment inside this plumbing store. There were like a couple of hoses for a sink, and that was it. Yeah, other than that, they mostly had what you would find at a convenience store in there.
That's part of the plumbing business.
Yeah, I get it. I understand completely.
You're just supposed to know that. You go to the plumbing shop to get bolt cutters.
And like I said, that was one of these things that this movie did do right, because a lot of mainstream movies over-explain shit to me and it pisses me off. And this movie was just like, just fucking deal with it, man.
Deal with it. This might not make any fucking sense at all.
Accept it. And I did by the end of it, because for the long drag of the in-between there, he like kills his wife, somehow gets his wife's body out of the hotel without anyone seeing him.
Yeah, and then into the garage at their house. And then all of a sudden they've got magical crawl spaces.
Labors that lady into a crawl space after he wraps her in trash bags.
Oh, but then he gets really cool Christmas lights and decorates his house like a little love shack.
Just his bed, like this bed frame.
Oh, what were they? Purple Christmas lights?
Yeah.
With some like blue masking
tape.
Yeah,
and he lays a knife like Afghan out for her.
And the way that he kisses this slimy ball of goop.
Oh, he loves it.
He wanted some snuggle time before Bangtown. The kiss,
This is like if one of us bought one of those like rubber asses, a rubber fuck my face. Mm-hmm. Oh my God. You know, like one of those heads with a vibrating ball inside of it.
Yeah, then you
And
have
then
to,
we went home and put panties on it and then like put a bunch of candles out.
and gave it a full side of the
Yeah,
bed.
had a whole night. Who has time for that shit? I don't even really understand fleshlights, to be perfectly honest. Like, you're gonna fuck this thing and then you're gonna clean it out? Yeah, fucking right.
Funny story, we were at the Pride Parade downtown Austin one year. They're throwing out mini fleshlights. There's kids there. So I got a flashlight.
How stoked would you be if you were like 13 years old?
You just take, you don't even know. I'm sure you'd get in trouble for shit like that at school these days. It says fleshlight on it. And he
I'm
brought
not
it to
talking
school.
about taking it to fucking school.
Oh. I mean, if it's a flashlight, it's a flashlight. So what it says flashlight.
Yeah, because what's the bottom line of this movie is this guy is the full like adult version of your 13-year-old self. He found a box and
he just wants to fuck it. Nobody's going to get in his way. He's killed Madame Zora. He's killed his wife. He's racked up $1,000 even on the credit card after paying cash out of pocket for a hotel room. That's kind of like an Airbnb, but it has a full-time man.
Yeah, and the wife has called his friend. She's concerned. He's concerned. Now I kind of like the friend. What was the friend's name?
Mike.
You're so good at remembering these characters.
Yeah, Mike. Mike gets really concerned when he's missed more work.
And suddenly, I like Mike a lot.
Yeah.
The guy who runs the hotel is my second favorite character. Mike ends up being my third. There's only 2 or 3 more people in this.
Mike goes to visit the house to check on him. Mike has a key to the house, apparently. He makes his way into the house. The wife's dead body is somewhere in a crawl space that's part of a tunnel system that would run under France. It just seemed big to me for that house.
It could be like Evil Dead 2, where it's like a spatial anomaly. You know, we filmed this in this house and this part on a soundstage.
Being John Malkovich, it's like that space.
Yes.
Mike comes in and Mike is concerned, and he almost
but we know at this point that Mike is gonna die.
Mike's gonna die. It's clear as day
because we like Mike now, so
we like him. He's checking, and he even says. He mentioned something about, if you did something to your wife, we can take care of this. There was something along those lines. Like he already assumed the wife was murdered.
We're deep in the dark night of the soul where like Luke goes in the cave and he knows his friends are all dying. You know, the character is at his lowest fucking point. Why do we care? Not at all.
Not really.
We don't fucking care anymore.
At that point, you do like Mike and you don't want to see him go, but you know he's dead the second he walks in the house.
Yeah, but you do wish Jerry's end at this point.
Yeah, you're ready for fucking Jerry is an asshole to everyone he comes across.
And maybe that's what was meant to happen.
He's killed multiple people at this point. Fuck, Mike goes down.
It's just a weird storytelling thing that only works in like Twilight Zone episodes where the character is a shitty person, and every now and then that can get pulled off in a book. Like
it's good.
Confederacy
it's a
of
good
Dunces.
Disconnect, that way you're not attached for what's gonna happen next.
It was just a little too slow for that.
I see that.
For me to buy this guy's a shitty dude. He's not really in a predicament. He could have just stopped fucking this boss.
And there's so many things. It's like people who go out and commit serious crimes now. I want to look at them and say, I know you've watched a couple of true crime documentaries. I know you shouldn't have done that. Not promoting that whatsoever, but there's just things you should know these days. Don't go get cash from the ATM. Wear gloves. Hair falls out off your scalp. All it takes is a hair. All it takes is that one love spot. You're gonna get caught. Jerry's out there raw dogging, free balling it, doing whatever he wants.
Yeah, I was also really confused that the detective in his needless first detective scene, he comes back and he's like, I figured out who killed her, and we have this DNA evidence. I think this might be the end of the movie. I'm thinking.
So what happened just before that though was Jerry. He's now murdered Madame Zora, his wife, and his best friend Mike / business partner / coworker, whatever. He takes the big bodyguard's offer to go back and get help. And while he's there upstairs is when the detective comes back.
The rash has just spread all over
awful.
him.
There's some sores,
we forgot to mention
balls.
that the fuck ball has now deteriorated into a pile
the
of
fuck ball
sludge.
is
That's why he goes and gets help.
That is.
It has nothing to do with like
He's
I fucked up.
Yes.
He just wants his beloved
He
fuck
just
ball
wants
back.
it back. It's turned into black tar. It was this purple, glowing, shimmery, clear, slimy object.
Yeah, and it kind of looked like it had like a nose and eye cavities deep within the recesses of the sludge
and
ball.
It started to deteriorate, and he wasn't getting off the same. It wasn't giving him the same sensation.
And fuck it, we won't spoil every movie we do, I promise. But don't watch this.
Yeah,
movie.
it's
or do you know? I like me telling you not to watch this movie. If I was you and I told me not to watch this movie, I would immediately watch this fucking movie because that's the person I am. If somebody tells me something is terrible, I usually don't believe them.
Give it 20 minutes and see how you feel.
Yeah, but Jerry comes to us sad, as
Yeah.
we saw coming, Twilight Zone end. Actually, I take that back. I did not see this coming. I didn't realize that he was going to become
I
the
think with
fuckball.
30 minutes left in it, if I'm not mistaken, I saw it.
You saw it coming?
I did. I honestly did. Just because I'm like, oh, he's looking gross and this is dying. It's the transfer.
Well, it was when he showed up at the place and he turns into this, like, the brood Cronenberg monster.
So here
like,
it comes.
Yeah, he looks like the Fly at this point.
It's happening.
And he's all covered in sores and stuff. And then, of course, the next thing you see is the Russian guy goes, or the Eastern European gentleman.
I don't know.
I've almost said the G word a couple times. He goes down in the basement and builds a new box, paints it up, and so you're like, oh yeah, all right, we get it.
And just to mention the cinematography there, those were nice shots.
Yeah, but I don't want to. If you want to know the last beat of the movie, which I also think was pretty good, I'm not fucking telling you. Watch the movie and find out. I'm not going to talk about the very last beat because the movie ended well. It started good. It ended good. It was the space in between it wasn't even hard to watch. It was just.
I almost forgot that part.
Did you
It took
really?
me a second to grasp what you were talking about. Yeah. Okay. I won't say that part either. But yeah.
So the script had a lot of redeeming qualities, and I like the premise a lot. I am constantly searching for movies containing some sort of sexual depravity. It's fine. This movie was an hour and a half long. I don't feel like I completely wasted my time because it will live inside me for a very long time. And it's affecting. It kind of reminded me, Neil Gaiman wrote a short story that got turned into almost an Outer Limits episode on a short run British program. I think it's on Shudder now, called Neil Gaiman's Likely Stories. So this kid wakes up and he's like 20 something and he's like, he goes to the doctor and he says, my penis doesn't belong to me. And he's like all freaked out, and the doctor's like, okay, and he gives him some sort of like pills for some generalized like infection sort of thing. And
What's the name of this again?
I can't remember.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. God damn it. I'll have to look it up. It's a Neil Gaiman story. It's not in it's in one of his two big short story collections. But yeah, that's what this movie reminded me of. It had that sort of, it was like body horror, like you can't control it. They didn't sell it enough, but I really liked the premise.
I mean, I'm never gonna look at a birdhouse the same way again.
So next time we'll be watching SLC Punk.
Sex and violence! Sex and violence!
It's a movie we haven't watched since we were in high school, and so it's going to be interesting. Who knows how it's going to turn out?
Thanks everyone for joining us for the Last Video Store Clerks podcast. Be sure to leave a rating and subscribe. You can find us on Twitter at Last Clerks, Instagram at The Last Video Store Clerks, and you can find Scott at dispatchesfromthepit.com.